Good day everyone. Today I am assigned to discuss about the world's leading environmental problems. The following environmental problems or concerns that the world currently faces are the contamination of the earth by industrial and transportation poisons and plastic, sea, river, and water bed pollution caused by oil spills and acid rain and the dumping of urban garbage. And the next one is the changes in global weather patterns. Example is the flash floods, extreme snowstorms, and the spread of deserts. An increase in ocean and land temperatures resulting in a rise in sea levels, as well as flooding in many low-lying areas around the world. Next one is the overpopulation. These are the development planners see urbanization and industrialization as indicators of a developing society, but disagree on the role of population growth or decline in modernization. Population growth will inevitably exhaust world food supply by the middle of the 19th century, and which in turn may result in widespread poverty, mass hunger, and political instability. And the next one is the damage of million-year-old ecosystems and biodiversity loss, such as coral reef destruction and extensive deforestation, resulting in the extinction of certain species and decrease in the number of others. And the fifth one is a waste disposal disaster caused by enormous amounts of rubbish, ranging from plastic to food packages to electronic waste, being dumped in landfills and bodies of water by communities, and the dumping of nuclear waste materials. And the next one is the acid rain resulting in fossil fuel combustion, toxic compounds emitted by erupting volcanoes, and vast piles of rotting vegetables clogging landfills or strewing the streets. And the seventh one is the ozone layer, which protects the world from the sun's harmful UV rays, being depleted due to the presence of chlorofluorocarbons in the atmosphere. And the next is the depletion of the world's non-renewable natural resources, ranging from oil reserves to minerals and potable water. And the next one is the industrial and community garbage reduce flowing into underground water tables, rivers, and seas, thus polluting water supplies. And the last one is the pandemics and other public health concerns caused by waste contaminating drinking water, filthy surroundings that serve as breeding grounds for mosquitoes and disease-carrying rodents, and pollution. And another problems is as a city grows into a megalopolis, it continues to expand, devastating farmlands, increasing traffic congestion, and making a smog and permanent urban element. And genetic alterations in food production, resulting in a profound transformation of food systems. And these are the present global warming trends and severely impact the ozone budget.
Man-made pollution. The major difference between natural and man-made air pollution is that continuous or temporary natural events cause natural air pollution, but human activities are responsible for man-made pollution. We can prevent natural air pollution from sources like volcanoes, but we can reduce man-made pollutants and their consequences, respiratory diseases, acid rain, and global warming. That's it for today's discussion. I'm Dana Isabelino. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Remy F. Baladhay, and I am from Group 11, and my report is Lesson 11, and the title is Environmental Crisis and Sustainable Development. Governments have their own environmental issues to address, but due to global warming, which transcends national borders, the state's ecological concern become global. The accumulation of billions of tons of carbon dioxide from coal-burning power plants and transportation other air pollutants and other gases and atmosphere causes global warming. Despite efforts by climate change deniers to claim that the world cooled off in around of 1986, there is now the widespread agreement that the global temperature has risen at a quicker rate in the previous 50 years and that is continues to climb. The greenhouse effect is to blame for repeated heat waves and extended droughts, while in the others is to blame for higher rainfall and deadly hurricanes and typhoons. California had experienced its worst water deficit in 1,200 years. Changed lately when rain fell and the drought-stricken areas. As the result, they experienced some of the worst flash floods it has seen in the 21st century. At a category 4 or 5 typhoons such as Super Typhoon Haiyan, which devastated central Philippines in 2013, had doubled, even and tripled in some areas of Southeast Asia. Scientists claim that there will be more such of typhoons in the coming years. The number of storms in eastern United States has also increased, with Hurricane Katrina of 2005 and Hurricane Sandy of 2012 being the two of the worst. Since 2002, glaciers have been melting every year, with Antarctica shielding 134 billion tons of ice. United States eastern seaboard, but also in the Gulf of Mexico. Coral reefs in Australia's Great Barrier Reef are dying, and fisheries are suffering as a result. Ground of disease carriers such as Aedes aegypti, mosquitoes, and the Gloria bacteria have been created as a result of flooding. Climate change, which is caused by humans and the affects the entire world, is perhaps the great current threat of humanity. Combating global warming. More countries are becoming aware of the dangers of global warming, following at the 1982 United States Earth Summit, which our framework convention of climate change was established. 192 countries joined the Kyoto Protocol to limit greenhouse gas emission in 1987. The Paris Accord, which was negotiated by 195 countries in December 2015, is the Kyoto Protocol followed-up accord. It aims to keep the world average temperature raised to minimum through the use of specific goals set by scientists. Kyoto Protocol, which is predefined CO2 emission limits for each country. The Paris Accord gives countries more freedom to set their own national goals. Social movements, however, had more success collaborating and exerting pressure on their governments to regulate global warming. Environmental activism take place in South Africa to urge industries to cut emission and lobby parliament for the implementation of pro-environment legislation. Across the Atlantic in El Salvador, local officials of grassroots organization from 1,000 communities advocate from crop diversification and reduction in industrial sugarcane production to protect of endangered sea species from the devastation of commercial fishing. The universities also collaborate with government to develop feasible pollution control plans. The Energy Policy Institute of University of Chicago deployed terms to India to collaborate with governments and agencies. The accomplishment become doubly noteworthy when this local collaboration between the state, schools, and communities are duplicated at the national level. In Japan, population pressure led the government to collaborate with civil societies, organizations, academics, and political parties to pass a blizzard of laws, 14 passed at once. In 1970, pollution diet. Although this restriction could not completely eradicate environmental issues, Japan now boasts some of the cleanest city in the world. Now is the time for everyone to form a global alliances of the nature, because at this point, when governments are still hesitant to fully commit to fighting pollution and international organization lacks of power to enforce anti-pollution policies, social coalitions bringing together while association, academics, the media, local and national government, and international aid agency may be the only way to resolve worsening situation.